The chamber was quiet, the air thick with the weight of the tales that had been told. The king, who had listened to the tales of betrayal, jealousy, and sorrow, now waited for Scheherazade to weave another story. She began with the same calm, soothing voice, her words as tender. The room fell into a hush as Scheherazade's voice carried them away to another world, another time.
O king, I shall now tell you of a merchant and his wife, whose love was as pure as the finest silk, but whose lives would be torn apart by greed and deception. There was once a merchant named Zaid, who lived in a bustling city near the great river. He was a man of humble means, but great ambition, and his shop was filled with fine textiles, spices, and jewels from the farthest reaches of the world. His wife, Rasha, was known throughout the city for her beauty, grace, and wisdom. She was the jewel of his life, and together they lived in harmony. Zaid loved Rasha deeply. He would bring her gifts from the farthest corners of the world, and every night they would sit together and share stories, dreams, and laughter. It was said that no man had ever loved a woman more than Zaid loved Rasha, but there was a shadow, O king, that lingered over their happiness. Zaid's business, though successful, was not without its struggles. The markets were crowded and competition was fierce. One day, a wealthy merchant from a far-off land arrived in the city, bringing with him exotic goods that no one had ever seen before. His name was Jamil, and his riches were said to be beyond measure. Jamil made an offer to Zaid that seemed too good to refuse. He proposed a partnership where Zaid would sell his goods through Jamil's trade routes, and in return, Zaid would receive a share of the profits. The deal promised great wealth, more than Zaid could ever have dreamed of. But there was one condition: Zaid had to trust Jamil completely, and to do so, he had to sign a contract that bound him to the merchant's will. Zaid was hesitant. He trusted no one fully, not even Jamil. But the allure of wealth was too strong. He could not resist. So he signed the contract, agreeing to the terms. Rasha, who had always been his rock, cautioned him, saying, "My love, beware of the greed that lurks in the hearts of men. Do not let it blind you to the truth." But Zaid, in his ambition, did not heed her warning. At first, the partnership was a success. Zaid's goods sold like never before, and he grew rich beyond his wildest dreams. But as the wealth flowed in, so did the greed. Zaid began to change. He spent more time with Jamil and less with Rasha. He grew distant, consumed by the pursuit of wealth. He became arrogant, dismissing Rasha's concerns about their changing life. One day, after months of silence and neglect, Rasha approached her husband. She had not seen him smile, nor had they shared a single quiet moment in what seemed like forever. "Zaid," she said, "we were once happy before all this wealth came between us. You were my world, and now you have become a stranger. The riches you have sought have cost us more than I can bear." But Zaid, blinded by greed, rebuffed her words. He accused her of not understanding his ambitions, of standing in the way of his dreams. He told her that if she truly loved him, she would support him in his endeavors, no matter the cost. Rasha's heart broke, but she said nothing. She had seen the change in him, and she knew that she could no longer keep him from the path he had chosen, and so the days passed, and the distance between them grew. Zayd became more consumed by his wealth, while Rasha withdrew into herself, her heart heavy with sorrow. One day, Jamil came to Zayd with a new proposal. He promised even greater wealth, but only if Zayd was willing to take a risk, one that would cost him everything. Zayd, desperate for more, agreed without question. Jamil's plan was simple: to sabotage Zayd's own business and blame it on a rival merchant, thereby securing a monopoly over the market. But this betrayal was Zayd's undoing. As he carried out the plan, he soon discovered that the rival merchant was none other than Rasha's brother, who had been in the business for years. When Zayd realized the depth of his betrayal, it was too late. The damage was done, and his greed had cost him not only his business, but also the love of his life. Rasha, devastated by her brother's ruin, left him. She took nothing but her honor and walked away, never to return. And so, O king, Zayd learned that there is a price to pay for greed, a price that cannot be measured in gold or jewels. He lost everything, including the woman he once loved, all because he failed to heed the warnings of his heart.
When Scheherazade heard the rooster crow, she decided to stop telling stories. Shahryar smiled and realized that Scheherazade would not tell any more. Of course, he had a new date the next night to continue enjoying the stories of his beautiful wife, Scheherazade. The room was heavy with silence, and King Shahryar sat motionless, his heart weighed down by the truths in the tale.